Invite your family and friends to join us, and then we will start in a few minutes. Oh, I am excited for today's topic. I would love for it to be an interactive session. So if you're able to type, that would be great. If you're able to, you will not be able to request to join me live, but you can type whatever your comments are, whatever your thoughts are in the comments, and I will respond and we can have an interactive session. So please do not skip that part. If you want to say something regarding this topic, just feel free to type it in the comments and I will respond. And then we can have a truly interactive session. Okay? I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. And even if you've not had a wonderful weekend, I hope you found some ways to rest, or you are looking forward to having a better week ahead, because you don't want to have a bad weekend and then turn around and have a bad week, right? That's not cool. Okay, let's see here. Families, family. This is such a sensitive topic to some people. To me, I think it's a sensitive topic to me because you can't just say anything about my family members and I'll sit there and listen to you trash my family members, or even try if I even hear you trashing your own family members. People who talk badly about their family in front of other people who are not part of that family members, I cannot trust you. If you are comfortable to to say all kinds of negative things about your own family members to another person who is not a part of that family, then there's something fundamentally wrong. I do not believe. I mean, every family is dysfunctional to some degree. Most families are chaotic to some degree. They do not all get along. They do not all love each other, and um, that's why we have family dynamics. But if you are comfortable talking badly about your own family members in front of other people who are not your family, I don't know. I feel some ways about that kind of behavior. It tells a lot, in my opinion, it tells a lot about who you are. It tells a lot about your, in some ways, your fundamental values. Because yes, your family might not be the best, family in the world. Yes, you may have very unsupportive family members. um, but what is your end goal in exposing or speaking badly about your own family members in front of people who are not your family? I do believe if you if you truly want to resolve or reconcile with your family members, sure, you can seek counseling to another you can seek counseling with a professional counselor, family counselor. You can talk to maybe your pastor or your spiritual leader. um, you can have a healthier conversation about those issues with those family members if you truly want to reconcile the situation. If you're not just looking for people to pity you and think, oh, um, your family is trash, so let me take you in. Like, nobody will take you seriously when they hear you talk badly about your family members. No, no, I'm sorry, no other family will say, oh, let's welcome this person into our family, even though they are so comfortable trash talking their own family members. So let's talk about families in a minute. Welcome back to the Healthy Bands show with Aidi. This show is a weekly show. It is supposed to be a weekly show. Don't worry about days when I do not show up. But this is a weekly live show that is centered around healthy conversations that can move us forward. I am not particularly interested in complaining. I am not interested in always dwelling in the negative, especially with things that you just need to have a conversation about. Please let me know where you're watching from, and also if you can hear me, because I don't know if anybody can hear me at all. My mic is on, so I hope that you are able to hear. So, when it comes to family members, why are families so important? Why do even, I mean, why is it that anybody on earth that you meet, even you yourself that is watching, you come from a family, you are associated with a particular family, whether they are alive or they're not, whether they are supportive or they're not, whether they are loving or not, it doesn't really matter. The fundamental part of it is that you belong to a family, right? So why a family is important? Um, I have had to ask myself that same question, because without asking these questions, we might actually miss out on the blessings that comes with your family, the kind of family that that you're born into. Again, you have absolutely no choice over the family that you get born into. You have you don't have a say. You just grow up, and then you find yourself in this family, and now you have to accept that this is who you are, and these are the people that God has put in your life for you to experience life with, or for you to navigate through life. So why are families important? I think that's one of the fundamental questions that I would like for. Thank you. Thank you so much. Etebong said he can hear me. I appreciate you. Um, that is one of the most fundamental questions that I would love for you to ask yourself after this show, or even during this show. Just why my family members important, right? Because what makes up a family um is your family members. Their families will not exist without members of that family. So why are families important? And also, because this is a faith based show, I take my faith in God very seriously. And I don't believe that anything happens in this world outside of God. If you believe that, that's up to you. You have the free will to believe whatever you want to believe. But I do not believe that um, families are a coincidence. It's one of those things where God made you guys a family for a reason. So asking the question, why is my family important? Or why do families matter? Why is it that every time God wants to do something, He will actually do it through your family, whether it is um, the family that you were born into, or people who have now become families, right? So most times in the Bible, or most times in our lives, you find that God will bless you through your family members. God will bless you through the people in your life that He has placed in your life to be a blessing, or to be a reminder, or to, for whatever reason. Families are so important. They are very important when it comes to building a strong economy. It is very important when you are when we talk of building communities. families are so important because without family units, without the presence of family units in any community, that is not a community. I mean, what do you regard as a society? What do you regard as a community? Say, for instance, in Nigeria, where I'm from Nigeria, in case you're not aware. When you want to break down, you know, different parts of the community, or even like, okay, break down into states, and then you go into local governments, and then you go into um, maybe villages, right? You find out that the only thing that makes these places exist, or that makes these communities to be what it is the families that are in that community. So families are so important when it comes to building any kind of structure. Families are important when it comes to building any kind of sustainable structure. When businesses are starting, right? If you're starting a business, you think of the people you're going to serve. These are people who are part of families. So um, I try to be conscious of the fact that regardless of what is happening, regardless of um, regardless of how to say, um, I try to be conscious of the fact that everything boils down to family units. Everything boils down to family members. I'm not sure if people are able to join this live, but they can only join through the link. I don't know if anybody can just go onto my page and join us. I hope that that is not the case, because I would like for you guys to be able to join. But yeah, please continue to share this live if you're not already doing that. All right, so why are families important? I think families are important in any kind of society that wants to sustain itself. And families are a critical part of um, God's plan. Families are a critical part of the way God wants to bless us and the way He wants to build our societies. So that's why, in my opinion, I think families are so important. I'm not going to dwell on that, because that's just a question you need to ask yourself. Why am I born into this family? Why is it that um, because God doesn't make mistakes, and He doesn't do coincidences. So if you find yourself in a particular family, it is for a reason, and it is up to you to try and find out that reason. Okay, so try and ask yourself that question: why am I born into this family, and why is my family important? Um, the next thing I would like for us to talk about, or what I'd like for you to ask yourself, is why reconciling with your family members is also important. Why should you reconcile with your family members? Again, if you understand that family units are very critical to strong societies, and that family units are important to building a strong nation or a strong economy, then this should be a no-brainer. You should reconcile with your family members, because where there is no reconciliation, there is chaos. Where there is no reconciliation, there is brokenness. And where there is no reconciliation between two people or members of a particular family, there is, honestly, love is not able to thrive. So, in order for us to rebuild our family units, in order for us to rebuild our communities and societies with strong family units, then we need to reconcile with with our family members. And I know, I know some of you have had horrible experiences with your family members. They have maybe largely been unsupportive, very toxic. I am not saying put yourself in a toxic situation just to prove a point, right? But you have to do your part. You have to at least try, try to find out how can this situation be resolved, and how can we reconcile what this our difference is, because we do not have a choice. We have to be family members. And because we don't have a choice, then we have to get past this negativity. And I think that's why you should reconcile with your family members. If you do not reconcile with your family members, then you might miss out on the reason you were made families in the first place. So again, where there is no reconciliation, there is chaos. Who benefits from chaos? The enemy, the devil. And who benefits from chaos? uh, when there is chaos, there is a fundamental inability to build wealth. So if you are serious about building wealth, if you are serious about um, if you're serious about moving forward in terms of having great support, having a sustainable society, you do need to reconcile with your family members. It could be members of your nuclear family, it could be your extended family. It, I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as there is chaos and hatred in within your family unit. I'm sorry, you can't even dream of progress. You really can't. And I know it might sound like, oh, um, I'm doing well, or oh, I am progressing, and that's good. That's great news for you. Um, but you're missing the point that I'm trying to make, because if you are the only person that is doing well in your family, if you're the only one that is progressing in your family, what does that tell you? Like, are you actually excited to be the only person that is doing well, that is living comfortably in your own family? Just because you say, oh, well, those people don't want to hear it, or those people, uh, I don't want to curse, I don't want to curse, I would say, F those people, right? Let me just do me, let me move on with my life, and let me leave them alone because they have refused to da 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 da. Whatever your reason is, honestly, doesn't matter, because you, if you're not walking in love, if you're not constantly trying to walk in love, then you and your family members will miss out on the blessings that is supposed to come to your family, and also from your family to other members of your society. So this is what I mean. Um, I'm going to use my story, my personal story, to share this part, because growing up, I, my family members and I, like, we were always very close. Every December, I would look forward to seeing my cousins. I would look forward to spending, um, spending days and weeks with my aunties and uncles. And that's when I was a kid. We were living a lot closer to my dad's family, the side, my dad's side of the family. And so I got to see those cousins of mine pretty often. I got to see them almost every month, if you wish. But we were not living so close to members of my family from my mom's side. So every December, we would all, it's almost like everybody, all my cousins and aunties and uncles from my mom's side, everybody came together. We would go to my grandparents' house, and we would all spend Christmas together. And I used to look forward to that because it gave me a chance um, to catch up with my cousins. It gave me a chance to just tell them about whatever it was, and um, just to feel the warmth that comes with being around your family members, people who love you and people who truly want to see you grow into a better person. So that was when we were kids. Fast forward to growing up and leaving Nigeria, I lost a lot of that connection. In fact, I lost the connection between my family members from both my mom's side and my dad's side. And for a while I thought, you know what, everybody's just doing their thing and everybody's grown and just doing whatever. um, and then as I finished uni, and as I started considering building my own family or settling down and starting my own family, it occurred to me that I really don't have any relationship with my cousins. I don't have any relationship with my aunties and uncles, and that bothered me a lot because a lot of the ideas that I had, a lot of the things that I wanted to do, honestly hinged on having people that I could support, sorry, having people that I could trust around me. A lot of the ideas that I wanted to explore, I wanted to do them with people who, with whom I can actually put my trust in, and I could say, okay, these people are not going to dupe me, these people are not going to try to harm me. And you don't really get you don't really get a lot of that outside of either your family members or people who have grown to be like family. So it bothered me, and for a really long time I kept wondering, you know what am I going to do? I would love to reconnect with my cousins. I would love to reconnect with my family members, but I just did not have, honestly, I did not have the balls to do anything about it. Um, and then one day, thanks to my brother, my younger brother, we were discussing just the dynamics of our family, and we started talking about the idea that there is so much like not hatred, not like we were not hating on each other. There was just this dark cloud that was just everybody was just hustling on their own, and everybody was struggling on their own, and it was nobody was really supporting anybody. We were all just allowing ourselves to do whatever we could. And then we started talking about the idea of love and how love really conquers everything, and how starting with little actions or starting with little steps to um, show your family members a different side of doing things, how that can really help and how that can matter, right? Showing kindness, showing love to your family members, calling people to check on them, whether you have anything to offer them or you don't, just the fact that you are there, the fact that you care, the fact that they are not alone, um, it really goes a long way to reinforce that love that we lack in some of our family members, sorry, some of our family settings. So after that discussion, I remember I started I prayed about it, and I started reaching out to my cousins. I started collecting contacts from my other family members, like, hey, please share this person's contacts with me. And if my cousins are watching this right now, they will testify to the fact that after this um, long period of time where we were not talking to each other, where we're not connected, um, I almost forced myself and inserted myself in their lives, because really these are my family members and I love them dearly. So if I'm not able to want the best for these people, if I'm not able to want the best for them as much as I want for myself, I guarantee you there is no way I will be able to do that for outsiders, people who are not my blood. Does that make sense? And I know it sometimes is easy for you to love strangers, for you to want to be there for strangers and to show up for strangers, because you don't really know their story. You don't know who they are. Sometimes um you don't know who they are, right? So it's a lot easy for you to just, and they don't also know who you are. So it's a lot easy for you to hide behind that, oh, I'm such a good person, I'm a nice person. Meanwhile, your own family members are suffering and you're not able to help them because you guys don't talk to each other. You do not rate each other. You don't regard, each other's um, welfare to matter. You think, oh, well, we are family and that's it. I think that's one of the reasons why God made us family members with the people that we now call family, because they are supposed to teach you lessons on how to grow. You're supposed to grow from the experience of family. And that, in my opinion, is one of the reasons, one of the main reasons why God made us families with the people whom we can't choose. Because if you could choose who your family members are, I'm sure you would try to pick the best people. I'm sure you would try to pick people who have the best temperaments in your opinion. You will try to pick people who will never, maybe never step on your toes, or people that you get along with. And how does that help you grow as a person if you are not faced with moments where you have to decide, okay, I need to be patient with this person while they learn, I need to be patient with this person while they grow also to where I am. And these are some things that you cannot learn from strangers who you meet today, and maybe tomorrow you are no longer in connection with. So I think that's one of the main reasons why we have family members. So, oh my god, I think I may have um I think I actually made this life unlisted. I don't know if there's anywhere I can fix it while I am still on live, but I hope that after this live is published, you are able to join and you're able to leave comments, because I think it is important that we have these conversations. It is important that we talk about it. Not necessarily because we have all the answers, or that because um, we have everything figured out. No, that's not the case. But we have to start from somewhere. We have to start having these conversations, because it helps us to grow from who we are into who we are supposed to be. It exposes us to some of our flaws and the things that we should be working on. So I really hope that you're able to comment, or that you're able to join. um, I, d- I really do hope so, that you're able to comment, or yeah, to leave a comment and share after this live is published. This is probably my mistake, and I'll try not to do that next Sunday. All right, back to family dynamics. I wanted to also share some examples from the Bible, because I do realize a lot of the people who watch this show are faith believing Christians. And even if you're not a faith believing Christian, there are valuable lessons that you can learn from the Bible with regards to family dynamics. The first person that I'm going to be talking about is Abraham. We all remember the story of Abraham, and if you do not know, it's all over Genesis. You can go read about Abraham's story. I find the story of Abraham very fascinating um, with how he dealt with his family members, especially his nephew Lot. So we all know of the story between Abraham and Lot, and how um, whenever God wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, where Lot was living in Sodom and Gomorrah, or he was living very close to Sodom and Gomorrah. So when God wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, um, he had a conversation with Abraham. So because of Abraham, because of the relationship that Lot had with Abraham, Lot and his family were saved. Well, everybody in Lot's family except his wife, she would have been saved if she had obeyed and not turned to look back at the things, her properties that were getting destroyed. But I find that story fascinating when it comes to family members, because if you read that story, if you read all of the story in Genesis about this relationship or this family, right, then you see how much God blessed Lot because of Abraham. Not only did God bless Lot because of Abraham in terms of riches and material wealth, God saved his life because of Abraham, right? God saved his life twice because of Abraham. The first time when Lot was abducted or kidnapped or whatever, taken into captivity, Abraham took his people, he took his army and went to fight and defeated the people who took his nephew. So imagine that they did not have a good relationship. Imagine that Abraham actually said, "Oh well, my brother has died. I have nothing else to do with you. Um, be gone. You're no longer whatever. You know how it is where um, people start to hate on each other because maybe they've lost the link between those people. So Abraham's brother died, but Abraham's brother had a son. And instead of Abraham just leaving the boy to do whatever and to fend for himself and to struggle on his own, Abraham had so many other kids that he was taking care of. Like he had children of his own. He did not have any reason to take Lot into his care. But Abraham understood that family matters. Abraham understood that families are important. Abraham understood that families are not a coincidence, and you have to nurture your family members. You have to teach your family members what you know. You have to want the liberation of your family members. And that's one of the valuable lessons that I learned from the story of Abraham and Lot. I I also was, while I was, contemplating on adding Abraham's story to all of this, I started to I started to laugh about this particular instance when I think there was famine in the land where Abraham and his family were, and they had to go to Egypt. I think they had to go to Egypt. That was the first time that Abraham was scared of losing his wife Sarah, and then he had to lie to the people of Egypt, to Pharaoh, that Sarah was his sister and not his wife, because he thought, if these people know that this beautiful woman is my wife, they will kill me, and there's nothing I'll be able to do about it. So instead, he lied that Sarah was his sister. And then I think Pharaoh tried to marry Sarah, and then because Abraham was her brother, um, and Pharaoh ended up blessing Abraham with like, let's say, dowry or like bride price or whatever you want to call it these days. Pharaoh blessed him with so much riches and possessions. Not only did he bless Abraham with all those things, he also blessed Isaac. He also gave Isaac a lot of, sorry, I say Isaac. He also gave Lot a lot of these blessings. So now Lot, who is Abraham's family by blood, ended up receiving material blessings, material gifts because of his relationship with Abraham. I find that very, very fascinating because, I mean, again, you can imagine if Abraham did not care about his nephew, you can imagine if he was not a family person, or he was not he decided that, oh, whatever blessings that God had promised him, whatever um, covenants that God had with him was just for him and his nuclear family alone. So I think that's one of the beautiful examples of how your family can be a blessing to you by virtue of just being a family member, or by you deliberately showing love and carrying your family members along with you. Another example, this one did not necessarily start out as a blessing. In fact, this one actually became a curse, right? Because of family. And that's the story of Joseph. We all know the story of Joseph and his coat of many colors that his dad Jacob made for him, and how his own brothers, okay, this one, it was his own brothers who decided to kill him. They plotted and they planned to kill their own brother. Um, Again, that is, families do that. People do not just harm you. Strangers do not harm you. A lot of actually, strangers cannot harm you. They have to go through somebody who is a part of your life. They have to go through somebody who already has access to you. So if you are allowing yourself as a family member to be used by a stranger to hurt or to harm your own family member, you have no love in your heart. You really have no love in your heart at all. Because there is no amount of, oh, I'm a good person, oh, I have love in my heart, that you will say to anybody and then turn around and you are not able to show that same love to your family members. It's just there. I'm sorry. There is no way somebody would tell me that, oh, I don't like my brother, I don't like my sister, I don't like my cousin, I don't like my dad, my and then I expect that person to like me. Are you joking? So, so yeah, so that's another story that shows how your own family members can be a curse to you. While in Abraham and Lot's story, Abraham, Lot benefited from the blessings that God gave Abraham. Um, on the other hand, Joseph actually benefited, I guess, from the curse. Joseph was cursed from the troubles that his own family members, his brothers, brought on him. So the story goes. I mean, you probably know about this story by heart. I hope. And if you do not also read Genesis, you'll get the full gist of it. But Joseph was sold into slavery because they tried to kill him, and then by I believe not by coincidence, just the way God had planned it, they had no idea that God was going to use that situation, that God was using them. They thought, oh, they were getting rid of Joseph and this dreamer and this guy that thinks that he's all of that. They thought they were getting rid of that and they were killing Joseph's dream. But instead, God was actually using them to carry out his plans, right? So that is one way that that's one story in the Bible that I find fascinating when it comes to family dynamics, because your family can actually be a curse to you. And in this case, obviously, it turned out to be something great because God already had plans for Joseph's life. And that's why he revealed that to him in the dream, the same dream that he told his brothers, and they used it against him, tried to kill him. So I find it very comforting that even though sometimes you see your family members doing things that are going against you, even though you might think, oh, these people are being very unsupportive, or these people are not, they don't care, or they're trying to actively sabotage me. Think of it as, what exactly is God using them to achieve? What is it that God is using them to push me towards? Because maybe you need to relocate from where you are because running away from your family members who are trying to hurt you. Maybe it's a way for God to actually push you to go to where you're supposed to be. Because in the story of Joseph and his brothers, he ended up becoming the one of the most powerful men in Egypt, especially the man that was in charge of food and all the resources whenever the rest of the world was experiencing severe famine. So, I mean, yes, it started out as a curse, but it ended up being a blessing even for the family, even for the brothers, because God ended up using them, using Joseph to bless them and um, to provide for his brothers. And you can read the rest of the story. It turned out beautiful and all of that. So these are two great examples that always sticks with me whenever I think of family members, or whenever I feel the urge to think, oh, my family is not being supportive. And I'm like, mm-mm. there are there are reasons for these things, and just because you are not able to see the reasons, just because the reasons elude you right now, doesn't mean it's not there. So um yeah. So I think it is so important for us to not constantly dwell on the fact that, oh, my family is not supportive. Yeah, sure, they're not supportive, but hey, Joseph's family members were not supportive. They tried to kill him, they tried to unalive him, but God used that to be a blessing. So yeah, that's something that sticks with me. If you are, a Bible student and you're like, oh well, da 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 da, there you go. You have two great examples in the Bible where God used family members to be a blessing to each other. And again, if you're not able to see past the situation that you are in, if you're not able to see past the hatred you have for your family members, you're going to miss out on those blessings. It's not a curse, it's just what it's going to be, because God loves to work through families. He even introduced himself to us as a family unit. So I think families are so important. Okay, the next point I would love to talk about, and I have another point after this, and then we're going to end this show because this is, yeah. Uh, so the next point I want to talk about is how you can build wealth with your family members, how you can build family wealth. Let's not lie to ourselves, okay? Wealth is important, and I'm very careful not to say money is important, even though at the root of it, money is really what wealth is. At least money is the one of the manifestations or the evidence of wealth. When you have wealth, when you have money, in this case, you have options. You're able to bless other people. You're able to travel the world and see all the wonderful things that God has created. You're able to travel the world and see all the beautiful people that God has made. You're able to learn because now you can afford to buy study materials. You're able to explore because now you can afford to. If you don't have money, I'm so sorry. If you don't have money, there's your hands will be tied. There's not much you can actually do in this world without money. It is important. It is crucial. Now, should you do something evil just to justify that you need to have money? No, you shouldn't. But is money important? Yes, it is. And if you tell yourself that money is not important, oh, money doesn't matter, you're a selfish person. How can you say that the one thing that allows you to navigate this earthly world, this world here, this physical world we can see, doesn't matter? How can you say that? I mean, yes, God will provide you all your needs according to his riches in glory, but you need to be able to key into that glory. He needs to be able to bless you, bless the works of your hands, so that you are able to do all of these things and give glory back to him. If you don't have money, I'm sorry, you cannot help another person. It's not, it's um yeah. So how can you build wealth with your own family members? The first thing I like to tell anybody that is trying to build serious wealth is to look inward, right? Look into your family members and think to yourself, what are the skills that God has given my family members? Because there are skills within your family that you are supposed to use to build wealth, but because you are so myopic, because you are so short sighted, and because you don't like your family members, you cannot stand them because you've refused to look past, whatever childish situation happened, or because you're not able to forgive your family members, you miss out on those blessings. You miss out on seeing those things. A lot of our family members are so talented, right? They're so gifted. They're very skilled people, and they're using these skills to help other people build wealth. They're using these skills to work for other people, and we have no problem with our family members using their gifts, their talents, their skills to build wealth with another family, for another family. But we have a problem with actually coming together and saying, these are the skills we have in this family. How can we utilize it to build wealth? It is so simple. God made you guys family members for a reason. He puts all of these skills for a reason. Do you know how much it would take for you to hire people who actually had skills who are not your family members? It will cost a lot. And if you don't have the money to do that in the beginning, that will keep delaying your dream, or that will keep delaying your process of building wealth. But if you just say to yourself, what are the skills that we need to build wealth? What are the skills that we already have in this family? Take it as free, I mean, not free labor, because the wealth we are building is for all of you, right? So think of it as, yeah, actually, it's free labor from God. It's a free gift from God to give you these people who are a part of your family and have all these valuable skills that you can use to build wealth. You guys are just not talking to each other. You're not asking the right questions. You're not seeing how you can help each other grow and continue to hone your skills, because everybody's like, oh, just I want to try to make it on my own. To why? To prove what point? To who? To impress who exactly? To impress the devil? Because what happens, and I've seen this happen in my own family, I've watched my talented uncles struggle with running their businesses on their own. And now as an adult, I keep thinking, and I even tell my cousins sometimes, I'm like, do you know what would have happened to this family if, if these people came together to support this one person that had all these good skills and talents? Do you know what would have happened to the entire family? Yeah, we would have been able to build wealth. But because everybody is so on their own, everybody just wants to, oh, I don't want, I don't want these people to hear about the things I'm doing. What things? You are struggling. Meanwhile, you have those skills inside that same family that you could leverage on to build proper wealth, to support this. I don't honestly, it actually pisses me off. It pisses me when I see family members do that, where yeah, one person might be the visionary, and that you will always find that one person within families that is the visionary. That's not a problem. It is that person's role to be the visionary, to have the ideas. But it is also it's also important for you to see that God has placed these other factors, these other skills inside your family to support that person with the vision. So if you are not looking inward to utilize what you already have, and if you would rather go pay somebody else to do it, somebody you can't trust, somebody that is also looking out for themselves and their family members, I'm sorry, you sound like a clown. when I when I was considering the idea of building businesses or starting an NGO, when I had the idea to when the Holy Spirit gave me the idea to start an NGO that was going to give back to our communities, the first people that the Holy Spirit sent me to were my cousins, were actually my siblings. It's not like you, where are you going to go to first? Who are you going to go tell your vision and your dreams to? I mean, it's only your family members that will understand that if you are building wealth, it is for all of us. If one person wins, it's all of us that is winning. These are the people who grew up with you, who struggled with you, who understood and saw. Oh my God, I'm feeling so emotional because this is, it's just, it makes no sense that you would rather neglect. Oh, thank you, Queen. Queen says she totally agrees. You would rather neglect the skills and the talents in your family just because, oh, I don't like how this person talks, or this, they're not presentable enough. For who? Let me stop talking about that because I think you already get the points, and we're getting closer to the end of this show. I want to touch on my last points before I end this live, and that is who benefits from broken families and who also benefits from strong families. Who really benefits from that? I'll answer. The one thing that suffers, the only thing that suffers from broken families is the society. The only thing that suffers is the society that suffers. The country ends up suffering because you have all these broken families within broken that make up broken communities, and broken communities make up a broken country. I'm sorry, I'm a scientist, and nothing just happens. Everything builds up. I'm an engineer, everything builds up. And if you see a big problem, you can break it down and find the root cause or how it all started. That's how you end up solving problems. So if we're not fighting, if we're not advocating to, if 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 we're not pushing to have family, strong families, or families that lead in love, or families that are not broken, you can't forget about the idea of a better Nigeria. You can actually forget about it. Yeah, Queen says it reminds me so much of my extended family, and that's one of the ways that the devil, this imaginary devil that we all pray against. You are busy going to church and praying against the devil. You know what the devil is doing? The devil is just roaming the earth. Like, the devil is jobless. He's just roaming the earth looking for broken people that he can use for his own work. And while you're busy praying against that devil, that jobless devil, instead of fixing your own family, instead of having these serious conversations with your family members, with your cousins and your aunties, and say, Auntie, what really is the like? What is your problem? Hmm? Like, this fight that you're fighting, who is it really benefiting? Who is benefiting from a broken family? I'll tell you, it's the devil that is benefiting, and the devil benefits from, I say imaginary devil because really the devil ends up being a broken community. The devil ends up being a broken system, a broken country where people are suffering, where people are getting attacked because they don't have, and there's, I can talk about this part all day. The only way to fix Nigeria, the only way to fix our communities, the only way to fix Akwa Ibom, because that's where I'm from, is to start having these serious conversations with our family members. You cannot avoid it. You simply can't. If your family is broken, excuse me, if your family is broken, if you are not, if you can't stand your family members, sure, you're not meant to get along with everybody. You know, we have different temperaments and we have different temperaments. We have, you know, some people are bipolar, some people are very sensitive, and some people are very tough skinned, and some people can take it and some people can't. You know, some people are funny, some are not. There's so many different dynamics within our family members, right? If you use that to judge them, instead of also thinking, hmm, how can this person's temperaments complement mine, or how can we find a way to understand each other? Because if you look into it, it really stems from misunderstanding each other, right? Even in your own nuclear family, you can remember, if you grew up in a large nuclear family, then you can clearly remember that you did not get along with all your siblings. You did not. Okay, not all the time. Okay, not all the time. But at the end of the day, you always found a way to say, this person is my brother, or oh, this person is my sister. They love me regardless of what just transpired, right? So why are we not able to apply that same logic with our extended families and say, you know, like, not necessarily um not necessarily fixing the entire family, because extended families are other smaller families, there are other smaller nuclear families. Maybe you can reach out to the person that you get along with the most in that other nuclear family, and you can suggest to them that this hatred, this you know, rivalry, maybe this problem or chaos that we are having within, you know, between different nuclear families, you know, within our extended families, it's not helping anybody. It's not helping me buy bread. It's not helping me afford to travel the world. It's not helping anybody. Instead, it's causing more pain, it's causing more strife. Etebong said, Proverbs 11:29, those who trouble their family will inherit the wind. Mm-hmm. No be me talk am, now Bible talk am. Okay, let's continue. The fool will be servant to the wise. You dey hear am? Okay, continue fighting with your family members. Those broken families, they're the ones who end up working for families that are together in love, that are building wealth together. If you think I'm lying, just do a little bit of thinking. Think. The fools will be servants to the wise. If you bring trouble and harm to your family, you will gain absolutely nothing. I agree. When, if you're the person that is constantly trying to start trouble, when there is peace, you don't like peace because, oh, you have to be fighting with somebody, or you have to. I'm sorry. what is your gain? What exactly is what do you gain from that? Okay, and someone also says, but if you care and bring love to your family, to your home, you will only gain the same in return. Exactly. If you bring love to your family members, you gain the same thing in return. Family wealth can also be built and passed to lines of generations when there is a sense of pure love, tolerance, compassion, commitment, and respect. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much. He said everything I wanted to say because whatever you're giving out, trust and believe you are going to get the same in return. If you're constantly giving out hate, you're constantly blaming somebody, finding ways to blame. Do you know how many of your family members are struggling with mental health issues that you have no clue? They are genuinely struggling and they just need help. They just want to go about, like, they just want to get um, they just want to get, should I say, go about their day. They just want to be able to afford to eat food and maybe live in a decent place. Do you know how many of them are struggling mentally? And instead of you to move with compassion, instead of you to move with understanding, with love and kindness and patience, you blame them because they're not ambitious enough or because they're not pushing enough. Pushing enough for who? Maybe you have enough ambition to motivate them. Maybe you have um, enough love in you to share with them, enough kindness that you can extend to them, and they can slowly learn how to love themselves and they can slowly learn how to be kind to themselves. If you're not willing to show your family members that side of you and you think you're just going to reserve it for your children, or I'm just going to love only my wife and my children, or I'm just going to leave those people to do whatever they do, let me tell you what will happen. You will end up building wealth. You will end up struggling alone to build wealth, and then you will build wealth because God's word is not a lie. God will bless the works of your hands if you are diligent. So when He blesses that work, right, this is what will happen. The family members that you refuse to carry along, the family members that you refuse to grow with, they will be the reason you will lose all of that wealth. Because what will happen is they will look at you and think, in their weakness, the devil will take advantage of that and give them ideas on how to harm you. Or another person, an outsider, will actually come and convince them that that you're the reason that they need to harm you in order to have what you have. And you know what they will do? They will agree because they will think this person really did not like us or this person did not really care about us. So they will justify hurting you, they will justify harming you in order to have what you have because you refused, when you were building this wealth, you refused to teach them how, you refused to show them other the ways, the things you've discovered, the things you've learned because you thought you're the best thing to happen to your family since fried akara. I laugh because when you hear of families like the Otedola, right? You hear of these big families, family names in Nigeria, and that they are doing so well, and you see all of them moving about together. It's not a coincidence. It's not by magic. They they actually came together and decided that instead of moving with hate, we're going to move in love. We're going to love each other so deeply, so much that we're going to build this wealth together. And an outsider is not going to come in and convince us to harm each other, to sabotage this thing we're building because we're building it for our family, we're building it for generations to come. And that's it. Meanwhile, your family is broken and poor and living in hate and in chaos and accusing each other of things that other people don't have control over. That's it. That's really all I wanted to share today regarding families. And if you enjoyed this show, I encourage you to subscribe. I'm not gonna beg you to subscribe because honestly, I'm not here to sugarcoat the truth. I'm just here to share it the way I have it in my heart and the way the things that has been helping me. I'm not perfect. I'm trying every day to be a better person for myself and for my family members, nuclear and extended. And I will continue to do that. And honestly, love conquers everything. Every time you love yourself genuinely, every time you love your family members genuinely, it conquers all kinds of evil. Absolutely conquers all kinds of evil. That's it. You can obviously see I feel very strongly about this topic of family. I feel very passionate about um, families that, you know, healing of families. And yeah, if you want to have a private conversation with your family members about this topic, or if you have no idea how to go about it, I encourage you to send me an email or find me on social media. You can find me on Twitter, now X. You can find me on Instagram. You can also find me on TikTok. Whatever you want to do, if you want to continue to have this conversation, or if you just don't have any idea where to start from, let's have a conversation about it. I'm open to helping as many families heal as possible. I am not a licensed therapist, but what I am is I know the word of God is not a lie. And regardless of how difficult it might be to start the conversation, you do need to have the conversation. And one thing I'm good at is I have the ability to start difficult conversations. You have to start it from somewhere because that is the only way you can heal. Every time you are sick or you are um what is the word, every time you are burdened with a you know some really bad disease or sickness, you have to start from somewhere to heal whatever is happening in your life, or is whatever the disease or sickness is. You can't just avoid it. You can't just put something over it and expect it to heal. No, you have to treat it, and treating it might be painful at first. Treating it might hurt at first, but you do need to start somewhere in order to start healing. And the faster we heal our families, the faster we can start building wealth within those families. And stronger families only build strong economies. There's no two ways about it. Okay, I'm going to stop at this point because I think I think you get the point. Okay, I think we all do. We all get the point, and I appreciate you for staying with me to the end of this show. Thank you so much, Queen Isong Ekong and Etebong. Thank you so much for joining me and for commenting. That really helped a lot to know that I'm not just sitting here talking to myself alone. I am not sure why others are not able to join me. I think it's because I mistakenly, normally I would leave this to be public, but I think I made it unlisted. So you may have to wait for maybe 24 hours or less to join or to watch this session. So if you're watching it after I've already gone off live, please leave a comment and let me know that you enjoyed um, this show, and come back next week. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I hope that you're able to take small steps, nothing too major, just take small steps and try to reconnect with your family members. They might act surprised, or they might be genuinely shocked that, oh, you're reaching out to me. Ooh, I thought, like, they may not understand, but it's okay. As long as you know your heart is pure, as long as you know you're moving with God's love, just don't worry about it. They will understand eventually, and they will want to see if this is, you're going to be consistent with it, or if it's just for eye service. And if it is for eye service, I don't even start. Don't worry about it. If you have no genuine plans of growing with your family members, please don't start. And if you have family members that are trying to use you, like this, they think they found some money bag, and they can just use however they like. Also talk to them, because it's a mentality that they think you have all this money. Be honest with them. Don't try to pretend that you have it all. But when you try to do that, then Yeah, they will also try to use you. And if you're not somebody who is able to say no, then you just they'll keep draining you until you have nothing left in you. So let's try to move with wisdom. And again, if you want to talk to me about, how to have these difficult conversations with your family members, I'm here. Okay. All right. This is the end of our show now, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Come back and see me next week. Bye for now.